All right. Oh, looking and hello everybody. Hello everybody out in internet land. Why is my desk shaking? Oh. There we go. Hello everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. Kids are asleep. Lurk away. Lurk away. I assume working and writing. But how's everybody doing? Cryptode, welcome in, welcome in. Ghostly, I hope the haircut appointment went great. Since I have a question for you and the people. All right, ask away. Ask a question of the people. People's Republic of Wilight. of People's Republic of Imperator, which is a republic in name only, as I continue to enforce total autocratic rule over the stream. All right, let's see. What are the vibes? What do the vibes say? Do we want something delightful and slice of life, or do we want misery? Oh, yes. Oh, I see. So you're throwing... Hey, Moon Runes, welcome in. Always a blast to see you. How are you, Moon Runes? Ah, okay. You're giving us options, Ghostly, on what to read. I mean, I'm assuming one is one the dark story? The folk horror you've been working on? And then I assume the other one is the road story. Yes, okay, yeah. Insults, and the other we have Southern Gothic. Okay, all right. Well, I'll let everybody throw their votes in. So because we are gonna do readings today. Ghostly checked in that Ghostly would like to do some reading. So we will do some reading up front, and there'll only be 2 sprints today because I have to go prep. I have to go to prep and get things for the shoot this weekend, so I have to wrap a little bit early tonight. So we're only gonna do 2 sprints. So we'll probably read the first sprint, and depending how far we get on reading, we'll write the second sprint, or we'll read. You doing good? Oh, you started doing Spark Driver, and you're liking it. Pays well while I job search. What is that, Moon Runes? I don't even know what that is. Is that like is it a food delivery thing, or I assume it's not like Uber or something like that. Where it's like you just like a taxi service. But I don't know what that... I mean, I'm glad you like it. That's great. Is it communist Uber? Okay, you either pick up and deliver stuff. Oh, cool. Okay, so it's like it's through Walmart. Oh, interesting. Okay. Definitely not communist Uber then, in that sense. But okay, that's cool. I'm glad it pays well. If it's paying well, then go get that cash. Go get that cash while you can. But that's pretty great. That's cool. I'm glad you found something. I'm glad there's something out there that you can at least make a little bit of money on doing while you're job searching, because that is the worst after you've been laid off. Is just you've no income and you're just in an utter state of panic. Unless you have a lot of savings, which I don't think anybody has a significant sum in their savings account, unless you're very lucky or you've been able to live in circumstances that allow you to save. You're taking a poll. Audience decides: do we want mountain misery or 2 cute idiots who are also on an unrelated mountain? That's very funny. Let's see. Always down for cute idiots. 5 orders got you $100. You'll take it? Hell yeah. For the win, absolutely. That's not bad at all. I guess how much time does that what does that break down to hourly? Do you feel like, Moon Runes? I'm assuming you're kind of doing them in batches. There's a lot of mountains going on in Ghostly Stories. That's fine. I mean, I did write a folk horror movie about an eldritch mountain, so I do. There's also a horror book I thoroughly enjoy called Echo, which is about a eldritch mountain. like, for whatever reason, my cosmic Lovecraftian Leviathan is a mountain. There you go. Here's what I'll do. My pretentious like Moby Dick, the big like work of art, or what I'll do is my work of art will be adapting Michael Mann's The Magic Mountain, or not Michael Mann, Thomas Mann. Thomas Mann's The Magic Mountain, or I'll write my own and it'll be like my version of Moby Dick but involve a mountain. Be a 7-hour epic film that half of it is just me in a locked room going on a tirade about, I don't know, how mountains shouldn't be classified as, I don't know, something that's deeply non-scientific. Funny enough, yes. Depending if I'm picking up or if I'm grocery shopping. 5 orders, so that's about 3.5 hours a day. Okay. I mean, so it's still, you're probably going to be, so that breaks down to about, yeah, that breaks down to what, like, for $100 for 3 hours, that's 3.5. So, I mean, yeah, it's not, it's, you're making like, but you're not making like, sometimes I feel with particularly Uber riders, they can get like, or Uber drivers, they can wind up making like less than $10 an hour, depending on what it's going. So you're at least making a better thing. Okay, and you get tips too. Yeah, that's great. That's great. For some reason, says man from Wyoming. Yeah, a man who spent a lot of time in Wyoming. Not technically from there, but spent a lot of time there. It's not a bad rate at all, especially when you're doing pickups. Yeah, it's a lot easier. That's great. It's enough for now. Yeah, that's a great holdover. So definitely, and as long as it's not doing too much damage to the car, because that's the other thing is like the wear and tear on the car is like a real expense you have to take into account. Mountains are sentient, old capitalist man. Yes, Ghostly. That's not even me. Like, I feel like I'm in good company with that. I feel like Miyazaki would join me on the mountains are sentient. I like half of like old Japanese like folk religion would be agreeing with me that mountains indeed are sentient. Not even Japanese. I feel like old traditional folk traditions would agree with me there. Damn it. Science is wrong. Mountains are conscious. They speak to you. I hear them whisper constantly. Yeah, I'm just going to sound like a crazy person. But damn it. Yeah, I'm getting an oil change this weekend. It's been a hot second. Yeah, definitely get it. Yeah, if you're doing runs, definitely get an oil change. Yeah, good lord. Yes, you are. I was going to say Appalachia, but yeah, exactly. Yep. So what's the plan, peeps? Happy Mountain or Sad Mountain today? Both will be read soonish, but what is it for today? I'm withholding my vote. I'm letting quote unquote chat decide, as the kids say today. As I've heard constantly now that kids refer to people as chat, which is very funny. That people say chat. I mean, we've got one vote for insult. So right now, insults is where it's at. So we still got time. We still got like 10 minutes. We still got like 10 minutes of hangout before we'll dive into the sprints. Ghostly has been toiling about this all day. It's fine, Ghostly. There's no. The choices were, I think, cute couple on a mountain, which is us reading insults, and then the other one's the folk horror story, which is she calls it Mountain Misery, I believe, are the two choices. Happy Mountain, I would like idiots. That's my vote. Okay, yeah. So there's Happy Mountain. Okay, it sounds like it's Happy Mountain. Everybody's it's Ghostly's fantasy novel or the Ghostly's folk horror. Okay, so it sounds like I have a feeling insults is gonna win. I don't think we're gonna have two votes on the opposite side, and I'm maintaining impartiality. As Worm Jesus, I cannot affect the course. It would be inappropriate for me to levy the scales. or I mean, to rig the scales, I guess. Ugh. All right, don't worry, Wyatt. I'll be throwing folk horror at you soon. It is fine. I look forward to it. This is a threat and a promise. Indeed. I swear I'll bring Van Book to read soon. The inner circle has begun to badger me on it, so we'll do it. You will do it. But also don't be afraid to like be able to put things on a shelf and set things aside. Like it's hard, particularly projects that are especially hard. But lots of times those wind up being very important books or projects to us. Sometimes it's worth it to give them their due time and let them cook. Let them cook a little bit. I mean, it's what I've been trying to do. I mean, Ghostly and Moon Runes, like a lot of folks have been here while I was writing that first script I wrote on stream about the father and son up in upstate New York, the sort of haunted house one. That one's been, I had to put that on the shelf. I put that on the shelf twice. Just because it wasn't singing, and I had to let it cook, and I'm routing back. I'm coming back around that I might dip my toes back into that one. I do something completely different with it, but yeah, it's sometimes it's okay to let those things cook. So, but it's obviously you don't want to just let them get dusty and forget about them. But I am a big proponent of don't be too precious with like it's your either one only good idea or that this is like the one big thing. Is like it's just sometimes, particularly if we're really close to a story, it's just you need space, and then you can come back and dive back in. But if you're feeling it, dive right back on in. It's important. You won't be able to stay long. I might go back out and make some money. Moon Runes is like, gotta go make money. So I'm saying hi, and then I'm gonna go out to get those dollar bills. So that's fine, Moon Runes. Yeah, obviously go do what you gotta do. But yeah, we're at least gonna be reading for the first sprint. We might be reading for the second sprint. Dollar bills. Yeah. Yeah. So. I'm of course reeling from the fact that a sort of nondescript sequel to one of my favorite games, or the sequel to one of my favorite games that is not a sequel to one of my favorite games for like international licensing purposes, is getting made. So I was freaking out about that, which is shocking that it was at a Nintendo announcement, which is pretty rare, but I spent yesterday in utter shock that they essentially are just making a sequel to Bloodborne without it being a sequel to Bloodborne. Which is like one of my favorite games of all time. So I might actually have to go buy a Switch too, which I was not intending on doing. I don't know if we'll see. It might not be fully exclusive, which I'm hoping. Cuz that shit expensive. Video game stuff is expensive. So I'm going to disclose I don't actually remember these first two chapters. It might be shit, who knows, we'll experience it together. Oh, really? It will not be shit, Ghostly. We don't know. I can make bad stuff sometimes. We all make bad stuff. It's fine. It'll be fine, Ghostly. Are you saying that you just don't, the last chapters of insults that we haven't covered on stream yet, I assume means that you're not sure if they're good, or how long ago have you been working on this? Like, how long has it been since you wrote those chapters? I had gotten to the first two chapters of Act 2. I have had the first two chapters of Act 2 written a while ago. Okay, yeah. Where did we leave off? Where was the last? Last time you read insults long ago? Oh wow, you haven't gone back to it since then. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. We left off with assassins. All right, you might have to send it to me again, Ghostly, because I probably don't have it, or I'd have to go like searching for it. However you sent it to me. Oh, you did. Thank you, Ghostly. Yes, you gotta make my life easy because I am Worm Jesus of limited patience, and I usually just if I can't find it in 5 seconds, I will just give up. There we go. Oh, nice. Oh, look at that. It actually shows up as like in dark mode. I appreciate that. That makes me happy. And limited, yeah, but and limited sleep. That's true. Yeah, yeah. That's generally how it goes. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Do. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. Where were we? I know we started. You said we were on Assassins. Yeah, we were in Act 2, I believe. Yeah, we did the double-edged sword, sobriety, unseen foreboding, gods and tadpole. Wait, where's Act 2? Where's Act 2? Oh, you did? Oh, you were actually able to do that on a PDF. I was wondering how a PDF did that. Aw, thank you, Ghostly. I appreciate that. I thoroughly appreciate that. Where are we? Oh, we only finished Act 1? Oh, okay. For some reason I thought we had started Act 2. Okay, alright. Okay. Aw. That's cool. I want to know how to do this. Oh my god, can I do this for screenplays? How did you do this, Ghostly? Did you do this in, like, in a PDF maker? Or were you able to do it before you exported it into a PDF? Moon Runes. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Of course, Moon Runes. Have a good time. Well, hopefully have a good time making that money. Go enjoy the money. But we'll catch you next time, Moon Runes. Have a lovely, lovely evening and weekend. I was like, can I do this with scripts? I would do this for for pretty much every script that I have as a PDF. Obviously, you don't want to print it this way, but to have it, like, to have it as a reader, I would 100% do this. So much easier on the eyes. I just made the page. Oh, you made the page black and then exported to PDF. Oh, really? So you did that in Word? You made the page black in Word? Oh, it's an option in Word? Oh, can I go yell at final draft? I mean, I used to write in Fade In. I wonder if Fade In has an option like that now. I mean, I know they have a dark mode to write in. Sure. Go ahead and install an updated version, but that oh man, I would love to be able to make PDFs that were like this. Boy, what would I give for that? Okay, I'm going to close this. Oh, alright. I'm going to have to experiment with this. I'm going to have to experiment with... Because I could do, yeah, a light mode and a dark mode. Under design, you have page color, and I just export... Oh, okay. Yes, Word uses XML, and that's why the file saves at .docs. Okay. Oh, right. The fully thing is I already told him about this. Wait, you told me about this? When did you tell me about this? That makes sense. But it doesn't show up as black. It shows up as like a dark... It almost shows up as the identical dark mode reader. It doesn't show up as black. I mean, that makes sense. That might... If you did tell me about this, I probably have... And I definitely have no... Well, and I have no memory of it. What you have just experienced... Oh, you told me about this when I read Jessup? I just made the page color gray, old man. Okay. Oh, you made it gray. Okay. You didn't make it black and then it's reinterpreting the color to be that kind of gray color. Okay, I'm making sure. Sometimes you don't know when you're working in InDesign, like you got to be, or like any other like publisher, like Illustrator, you've got to like be really careful with how you like you can do like you can have something be defaulted to black and then it doesn't show up that way when you export it out to a PDF or even to print. So it's like a whole thing you got to deal with. I just made the because it was black too. Okay, old man yells at sky. Yes, that's true. Yeah, what you just experienced, Ghostly, is what Opera Soria has had to endure for over a decade now, which is generally explaining something to me or being like explaining something to me or explaining something or showing me something fantastic that I'm like, that's amazing, how did you do that, and then having zero memory of it. That is something's wrong with my brain. My brain is flittery. It flutters and flaps and it's fickle, apparently. Memory gets funky when you're running on low sleep. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of reasons that I'm sure. Let's see here. I mean, did I see the Princess Bride reference? Which one? Like in this? There's a million Princess Bride references. Like the Buttercup? Or is there another one? I mean, you also have the shopkeep that you based off of Billy Crystal's character. Oh, a dream within a dream. Ah, that's right. Okay. I thought you were doing like that could also be a Inception, since that is the name of the song, the Bois song that wound up being in every movie trailer ever for like a decade after. I snuck a Princess Bride reference into a Magic story to mixed response. To a mixed response? The kids are asleep? How dare them? How dare they? How dare anyone have a mixed response? That might be one of the only like films I think you could put out there as like a universally beloved film. That upsets me. The fact that it was a mixed response upsets me. I have Princess Bride references everywhere. I know you do, Ghostly. I'm sure you do. Love that the kids are. Shame on anyone who doesn't enjoy that. I agree. Yeah. Not in my Magic story. Well, your Magic story is not worth the light of day. Is the answer to that. Clearly somebody has stepped on your childlike wonder or any sense of joy you have as a human being, and you're just angry and taking it out on everybody else now. Because if you are getting mad about that, then you are heartless. You are heartless, and I think you need to go and get in touch with a childlike sense of wonder and delight again, and learn and be happy. learn happiness, damn it. Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm editing a manuscript this week where the main character's nickname is also. But oh, nice. Oh, that's good. Wait, what? Why? Wait a minute. I thought we were starting out on a solid foot here. We don't have to start bringing up my out of context quotes. God damn it. It's true. It's true though. When I'm only on stream, I despise the poor. But I usually only despise the poor because they make me feel uncomfortable about the obscene amount of wealth and power that I have accumulated after crowning myself God. Anyway, no, there's one about Twilight dissing people who don't. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there is one about. I do remember there is one where I did diss on people who don't like the Princess Bride, because you're wrong. You're just wrong. if you it's like hating like Bowie. It's like, I mean, I get it. It's fine if it's maybe not your like 100% jam, but like hating is, I have no frame of reference to even engage with you at this point. After donning the worm suit, yeah, that's right. After I put on the worm skin, that's what happened. Twilight, I don't judge except these times when I judge very hard. Yeah, It's true. It's true. It's true. I'm open and welcoming until you say the wrong thing, in which case I bring down the commandments. He listens and he does judge. It's true. It's true. I do get a lot of flack when I offer my film takes sometimes, particularly out here, because everybody has their different thing that they like and stuff like that, and I do some of my critiques, particularly my critiques of television, can be particularly harsh. I do accept that I can be harsh on television. But I've definitely gotten people get really mad at me. They're just like, you're so judgy. Like, you just, I'm like, oh, all right. I don't know, man. Anyway, yeah, Tarantino likes feet. It's true. It's true. I'll take, I mean, I'm sure I've got my weird little thing that I do. After I make like 10 films, and someone's just like, you do this in every movie you make, I'll be like, yeah, that's okay. That's my foot thing. That's the Tarantino's got feet, and I'm sure I've got one that I just don't even know yet. I'm very harsh on TV or in good company, and that's the curse of my work, and that's what happens. That's what happens. It's mostly like I'm just such a stickler for form and format and media. Form and function. I can be a little bit of a formalist when it comes to utilizing the strengths of the particular art form to tell a type of story, and when it doesn't do that, I tend to like check out pretty quickly. So it's also why I also tend to have a very specific criteria for how I judge adaptations. That's why being completely accurate to the adaptation is not something I particularly care about. I more care about the essence and like how it's translated to the strengths of the form. Essentially, it's all form and function, the form of the media that it's being adapted into. So more than like it just being a literal translation. But television tends to have a habit of not utilizing cinematic language in a way that I think is like interesting. It tends to be very like bland. But that's just me. And it's not all cases. There's many cases where that is not the case. But I do understand why I get a lot of kickback, because most of the people I know are TV writers, so they usually come at me pretty hard. Which is fair. They have a right to do so. It is fair. Is a fair critique of my personal, as the kids are asleep, said, opinions are like assholes. And that is my asshole. All right. We've been chatting for about 34 minutes, so why don't we dive in? So we are going to be reading Ghostly's work today on stream, so feel free, if you are working, to mute stream and lower it. We will be running the timer for everybody who is doing a writing sprint to kind of follow along. And then we'll still be taking breaks and that kind of thing. And only 2 sprints today, since we're wrapping early. I have a show I have to go prep for this weekend, so I will be leaving early. And as soon as I'm not enjoying something, the brain will tear it up, and that's why it's not for. It's true. It's very true. All right. Let us go ahead and start reading Act 2 of Insults. I do like that you titled it Insults Reimagined. I like that. It's a good title. It's good title. All right. Happy writing, everybody, for everybody who is out there writing. And we will catch you on the other side. And away we go. Tarantino's got feet, and I'm sure I've got one. That's a good quote. We might add that to the quote list. All right. Okay. Let's go. Let me bring this up a little bit. So, how long are these chapters, Ghostly? Do we want to try to do for 2 chapters? Usually I try to do 2 chapters every time you redeem. Oh, this chapter is pretty long. Whew. Okay. Chapter 20 is long. Alright, let's see how long it takes us to get through chapter 19. And we will see. Alright. Okay, chapter 19. A Dream Within a Dream. The sun had yet to rise, but Buttercup was wide awake. She stayed curled on her side, watching the leafy ceiling flitter in the early morning breeze. Tiredness drooped her eyelids and chewed up her thoughts, but she didn't dare close her eyes. She knew what she would see if she let herself slip off. The visions she had almost grown accustomed to when her body surrendered her to rest. That shock of auburn hair and sharp grin were buried under her eyelids. The past 3 nights, he had haunted her dreams. It was unsettlingly vivid memories that would bleed into the disturbing what ifs. The back of her mind imagined tormented her with. No matter how much she tried to focus on anything else, he always came back. She clutched her knees to her chest for some sense of warmth in the chill of the darkness and some sense of comfort from her thoughts. Buttercup stayed as still as she could, not wanting to wake Damascus a few feet behind her. She had learned fast he was a light sleeper when he awoke her the first night, saying she was crying in her sleep. She had managed to scrap together a nightmare about a wolf in the woods. She had managed to scrap together a nightmare about a wolf in the woods. She could tell he didn't buy it, but she wasn't about to confirm his suspicions when she didn't even like to acknowledge what it really was. She traced the dark leaves against the deep blue sky, watching as it slowly lightened. The ground crunched as Damascus shifted behind her. His heat prickled her back as he rolled over. She swallowed, her heart stilling. She couldn't tell if he was awake or not, but she didn't dare move a muscle in case he was. "You sleep like a board." His voice was scratchy and quiet from sleep. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end as she felt those familiar itching eyes boring the back of her head. "I'm cold," she mumbled, still not moving. "I offered you my jacket." "I'm not that cold." His sigh tousled the back of her hair. There was a tiredness in the huff that wasn't from poor sleep on the forest floor. "You know I won't hurt you," he quieted with that statement, his stoic tone getting lost to something genuine. He squeezed her eyes shut and pushed past the disgust that bubbled in her stomach. Or she squeezed her eyes shut and pushed past the disgust that bubbled in her stomach. "I know," she admitted. "But that doesn't change anything, does it?" He spoke it as a question, but they both knew it as a statement. The resignation that defined him was tainted with hurt. I do really enjoy you leaning into just the fallout of this. I am a big fan of any time we really do lean into how violence can shake people. So I appreciate this. I forgot how painful having someone read your work. Yeah, it can be rough. You're doing fine though. You're doing fine for now. For now, you're doing fine. But no, it's reading. It's reading all right. And I like how you're setting it up. How you're leaning into the chapter. The low-key not assault. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, violence. It literally is just violence in general. But yeah, it was not a great time. All kinds of violence. She closed her eyes and let her lungs empty. She couldn't find it in herself to respond. An early morning breeze swept the ground and racked a chill through her bones. She squeezed her knees tightly to her chest, but her teeth still chattered. She would be lying if she said the heat that radiated from was not tempting. Her desire for warmth warmed with her long-honed instinct to keep distance between herself and his kind. With her mind, she knew he had proven to be no threat to her, but with every cell in her body, she recoiled at the thought of his touch. Nice. That's good. I like that. I think people should be bothered by stuff. Seems human, or so I've been told. It's true. Or reflective, at least, for sure. "Freezing to death will win you no prizes," he spoke gruffly. A twig of annoyance snapped in her gut and creased her forehead. "And what prizes has living got me thus far?" She was on the defense before she could comprehend the words she was saying. "A loving family." He didn't have to think about his response. The bitterness that soaked through those 3 simple words froze her more than the cold. She fought back the cringe that gripped her as she was poignantly reminded who she was talking to. Her eyes stung behind her eyelids. "Forgive me." She whispered the apology, trying to ignore the chiding voice between her ears. It was his turn to be silent. Nice. I like that. The relationship between them is great. Um, and how you've developed it. You do a very good job giving these quiet moments they're really meaty quiet moments, where not just how they're figuring each other out, but also kind of figuring themselves out, which is smart character development. Every fiber of her being was tensed and guilt ridden. There was no peace to be found within her, only exhaustion and regret and fear. Her nails bit into her knees as she pulled them tighter to her chest, trying to gain some semblance of relief from the pit in her soul. She almost didn't notice his resolved huff, but she certainly did notice the new weight that came to rest on her. Push me away if you so wish. Her muscles tensed under the arm that draped over her, but she didn't pull away. His warmth seeped into her past the chill of the. Her warmth seeped. His warmth seeped into her past the chill of the night. The thick leather of his trench coat that now blanketed her sealed in his body heat. Buttercup swallowed as one last shiver ran down her spine. She was charged to push him away, to roll out of his arm, roll out of arm's reach, but she couldn't find it in herself to deny the comfort of warmth. Nice. She closed her eyes and loosened the tension that rigged her, letting her muscles seep into the dirt. Are you comfortable? He spoke just above her head. Yes. She clipped the word, not wanting to admit it. Sleep. There will be a few hours until sunrise. His palm rested respectfully on the ground as his arm draped the coat around her frame. She was close, but he was very much aware of not being too close. Nice. Or he was close, but he was very much aware. Very nice. Buttercup's need for rest jailed the straggling felons of reluctance. That's a description. Buttercup's need for rest jailed the straggling felons of reluctance. She forced herself to lean back into his chest as she let herself uncurl. To her surprise, Damascus flinched under the movement. Are you okay? She asked without looking back to him. Yeah, he breathed, steadying the tremor in his frame. Fine. It was his turn to tense. His heart hammered against her back. The chest she rested against was hard as a stone left out in the sun. Every muscle pulled almost painfully to the brink. Maybe it wasn't just her that hated the thought of touch. I can move. The quietness in her voice deepened with certainty. No. He was quick, almost a little desperate to respond. You don't have to move. He shifted behind her, letting them connect and not flinch under it. Buttercup took a steadying breath and stayed as she was. Good night. Again. Sleep well. There was a genuine wish behind his words that was all too telling of his awareness of her insomnia. She pushed that thought aside, although with all other ones that shouted at her to move. With a steady few breaths and heavy eyelids she found for the first time in a while, it didn't take long to drift. Nice. Okay. Good lead-in. A good little quiet lead-in to our second act. Yep. Yeah, the chemistry's great. The characters are great. It's definitely, that's Ghostly's strength for sure. Hey, Eat to Liz, welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah. I guess my theory is you could probably trim it up a little bit. You could probably make this just like a little intro bit, or I guess, oh, let's see. You got a whole chapter here. Let me see. I'm trying to think instead of just trying to give you where I find it. I don't know. I'll come back to it because it feels fine. It just feels like it could be a bit shorter. But I don't have a clear idea of what I would cut, so I ignore that note. How's it going, Liz? How goes the Liz? Alright, let me do the second half of this really quick. Okay. Damascus was awakened by a hard kick in the... Of course he is. Of course the poor... Oh, Damascus. Damascus was awakened by a hard kick to the shin. He bit the yelp between his teeth as he jolted, his blurry vision taking a moment to catch up with his brain. But even when he could see fully, he was dumbfounded by the image before him. Buttercup was curled into his chest, her forehead resting on his heart. Her fist balled up in his shirt. Cute. His arm was wrapped snugly around her, and his hand splayed across her back. Nice. Very cool. Um, You got about 10 minutes left at work. Yes, go do it. Goes well. Short stream today, just reading for Ghostly. Today, it seems like. So close to freedom, indeed. So close. Ghostly pain. It's funny, though. It's funny. This is a funny way to wake him up. You're always good at waking him up. Or throwing throwing them against their own better natures, or I guess throwing it in their face a little bit. It's very funny. Let's see. Damascus blinked several times and waited to wake up, but he found this was a dream he was not roused from so easily. After a moment, he sighed and decided to enjoy it before he was awoken to the cruel world that awaited him and his companion who always kept him at arm's length, though he couldn't pinpoint why that bothered him. Okay. The rising sun warmed his eyelids and relaxed the features in his face. He let his frame sink into the moss that covered the forest floor like fur. The tightness that shackled his insides loosened. It was enough to make him almost forget who he was. Damascus pondered the last time he had been close to anyone, or more so, touched anyone in a non-threatening manner. He thought of the witches, and how they would lovingly prod at him sometimes. More specifically of Mimsy, and how she would insist on a hug before he would leave. He could never tell the old woman no, but there was always something about having someone's arms around him that just unsettled him, made him feel on guard. Even when those were the arms of a little old blind lady. But this wasn't really a hug. This was something he didn't have a word for. The only thing he could think of that compared was when he was a boy and he would crawl up into his mother's chair by the fire and she would hold him. But this time it was him doing the holding. He's never done that before. It was nice. Nicer than he ever would have anticipated. He let the moment sink into his skin so that he might remember it even after he woke up. He found his mind wandering to the earthly smell of her hair when she stirred. Damascus' eyes fluttered open to look down and see hers do the same, that familiar groggy dissonance in her adjusting eyes. He took in one last deep breath as he prepared to wake up. The morning glaze was swiftly blinked away by gaping shock. Her body stiffened with life under his arm, and she didn't move, not a muscle. She stayed rooted there, her hand still grasping his shirt, and her wide gaze not straying chest. Unable to meet his eyes. Oh, that's cute. Damascus frowned in thought. This was certainly a strange turn for his unconscious mind. She swallowed before the shaky words left her. Tell me I'm asleep and you're a dream. I thought that's what you were. Very cute. Very good. Call and repeat, Ghostly. Very good. Damascus' phrase grew warmer than the morning as his brain clouded with blood. His guts sank as he realized that they were both mistaken. Her lips thinned to a line as she squeezed her eyes closed. Can we pretend it was a dream? His heart regained a steady beat at that, and a small bittersweet smile ruined his stoicism. As far as I'm concerned, that's all this ever was. Her breath of relief warmed his chest as though the fabric of his shirt. She tensed to pull away, but without cognitive thought, his hand held her back. The words fell from his lips before he could stop. But perhaps we can dream a little while longer. Oh, shit. Ghostly. It was her turn for the bittersweet smile. I suppose I'm not quite ready to be awake anyway. Oh, damn. All right. Okay. That was good. I like the shift in perspective. I like that you do your night from Buttercup's perspective, and then we switch to Damascus's perspective on the waking up. I'm not gonna lie. Ghostly. That got a little romantic almost a little bit there. Very sweet, very endearing. Look, we're 200 pages into this. I feel like I needed to feed the people. Ghostly. Look, they have something they're looking for here, okay? Very funny. Very, very good. Very good. This is a good little like act break interlude chapter. Just a sprinkle. Yeah. Okay. It's very, very good. Let's see. What do I got? What do I got for this? I really like. Obviously, I like that you're kind of sourcing, kind of. It's not just. Particularly when you have two very prickly characters like this, you do a very good job of kind of reminding people of a sort of kind of the trauma as to why they're like this and why they might be opposed to being touched or even held or like essentially like even any form of vulnerability essentially. So it's smart. I do like that you kind of like lean into like why they're both kind of like they tend to like not be able to express any sense of like intimacy and vulnerability. Um yeah, the only thing that I would say here is I'd make this like a little bit of like a lead-in chapter. It's very sweet. So I would probably just see where you can trim it up to make it just a little tighter and a little bit shorter. That's it. And you probably can do that with just some repeated statements, just like reuse of sentences and things like that. But other than that, it's a good sort of it's a really smart way to kind of reorient your audience with these two characters, their mindset, also how they're changing. You are giving. I know you say that you're doing it to feed the reader, but you are giving good hints of kind of how they are slowly changing, and they're kind of developing they're kind of developing a way to talk around their trauma, at least for now, which is endearing. But a way for them to kind of talk around the walls that they've built up. I'm not so sure we're seeing the walls necessarily break, but they are kind of, you are doing a good job of letting them kind of talk around it, essentially. Which I do think works. The second half of this is great. Just the way that they wake up is fantastic. Big fan of that. I appreciate that growth fits them. It's not being shoehorned into a box. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Always that. Slow burn. Yep, slow burn. I mean, it's good. It's smart to like slowly build kind of the character. If you're doing this as a vibe, as like a hangout vibey type thing, characters are pretty much all you got. You're gonna have to rely very heavily on them. So it's good that you're making them. You're not, and I don't feel like you're dragging it too long with them kind of changing or slowly adapting. I do think it's a slow burn, but I don't think you're dragging it out too long, which is good. The only thing you want to be careful, which is hard. This is actually the hard thing with hangout movies specifically, is it's very hard to do this with vibe stories and characters like this. Is you want to avoid writing the same scene over and over and over again, unless, and movies like Dazed and Confused and things like that do a really good job at doing this, where they kind of get away with being able to write the same scene over and over again, but enough is changing underneath, in terms of like what you're kind of trying to condition the audience to be clued into. As long as they're clued into the right thing and you're changing that thing, you can get away with writing quote unquote the same scene over and over again. But that is the thing you want to watch out for, is just avoid doing the same scene over and over again, unless you do it kind of like that, where you are the subtext of the scene is radically changing. So even though it seems like it's the same scene, it is radically different. To my endless fear, plot comes soon. Yes. Yes. I think we learn new information with every one of their little breaks. But you want it to be more than just new information. It can't just be Yeah, it can't just be like an info thing. It needs to be a shift, or in a sense, it needs to be a dramatic a shifting. Like something needs to occur there. Like you did it in this scene where they did change, where they essentially did say, let's, pretend to be the dream. It seems like, this romantic statement, but that is a radical shift of that is a massive character change for both of them. And that's what you need in those scenes. You need that kind of level of shifting the ground, because now the dynamic's completely different. Same scene, new messaging, and that's what grows the tension. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it, Cryptid. Yeah, it's where it grows the tension or shifts the focus of where the tension is coming from. And the messaging shows those changes in character. Yeah, the setup can be static. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, you can have static things, but the characters can't be static. And oftentimes in a lot of plot heavy things, you'll actually see the characters are static while the plot is not. It's just an inverted sense of the problem. But it's the same thing. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's dive in. Chapter 20, Descending Ascent. Okay. Buttercup wasn't sure when they had technically started up the mountain. She just noticed the horizon got closer. Buttercup puffed the crisp air in a vain attempt to fill her lungs. It seemed no matter how much she breathed, she was still thirsty for more. Yeah, altitude will do that. She watched her feet on the rocky dirt incline. It had been steady at first, just a gentle upward slope, when Damascus had led them off the path the morning prior. The terrain very quickly grew more challenging. The next time we see a path, we are taking it. I don't care if it's out of the way. I am not a mountain goat. She managed through gulps of air. I love this. I love that. Damascus smiled, something he was doing increasingly more and getting better with every attempt. I offered to carry you, he said through a heavy breath of his own. I repeat, I would rather keel over and die. She glanced up at him through her eyes lidded with stubbornness. Suit yourself, little witch, he sighed, turning his smile to the gray sky. The trees were shorter the higher up they traveled. Oh, yeah, they're at the tree line? They are high. Hot damn. 10,000 feet. Actually, a little higher than that. Trampled by snow in the winters to sprout it in the spring and shoot up the summer. Though they were short, they were far, far from between. The foliage was as thick as it had been in the forest below, if not thicker. The fir trees had no qualms in taking up large swaths of space, and growing up close beside each other, paired with the smooth white rocks that stuck out the mountainside like broken ankles. Nice. That's a good description. I like that. Oh shit, did I forget to run ads? Oh no! Shit. Alright, ads are incoming, everybody. Oh, shit, I forgot to run ads. Damn it. Let's see, I might be able to snooze them. Hold on. The Living Mountain. I dig it. I see what you're doing. Okay. I think we're good. I think I can delay the ads. Okay, cool. I can delay the ads. Okay. Till right. The ads are gonna hit right when we go to break. Where are we at here? I do like, paired to the smooth white rocks that struck out of the mountain like broken ankles. The Living Mountain. Very, very big fan. With some muttered curses and a few breaks, they made it to a plateau that evened out the mountainside. From their point, they loomed just above the flat land, getting a breathtaking view of the mist that hung just above the treetops. Look, Buttercup huffed. Her hand was propped up on her knee, while the other pointed down the hill. A path! From the mist parted a trail of dirt that disappeared into the fog. Damascus squinted at it. That's strange. I don't recall a route to any major city that would go through here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mysterious new path. I don't trust it. Maybe someone has a house? She suggested half-heartedly. Her knees wobbled as she still worked to catch her breath. She eventually just gave up and let herself plop onto the grass boneless. Funny. I like that. Maybe. Maybe. He didn't sound convinced. His scrutinizing stare didn't leave the plateau below him, a clear distrust hardening him once again. Buttercup huffed and puffed on the ground, grumbling about mountains and stupid giants. We are taking that path, she spoke in a tone of a boulder that would not be moved. We don't even know where it leads, Damascus glanced down at her. If the clear distaste in his voice wasn't enough, then the obstinate furrow to his brow certainly was. It leads somewhere, which is more than wondering gets us. She raised a hand up into the air and waved it around to emphasize her point, before she let it fall to her face. I know where we are, Buttercup, he refuted. I have traveled these mountains many times. I am well acquainted with their geography. Just because you know where we are doesn't mean you know where we're going. Her words slurred with a hint of belligerence. Nice. Oh, gotcha. Oh, wandering. Yeah, but then wandering gets us. Thank you, Ghostly. Okay. Damascus forced a deep breath and turned away from her towards the plateau. He shook his head at the sky, and ran a hand down his face, the rope hanging from it, an ever-present reminder he needed to learn how to compromise. Though that didn't mean he wanted to. Thea, help me. You know, if the Mother of the South chose to help us now, I think I would be a little upset. Her voice was still airy, drunk on mild asphyxiation. That's good. Her eyes traced the clouds and looked so close that she couldn't touch them, which she tried and failed to do. Damascus expelled his reservoir of exasperation in one final drawn-out sigh. With a limp resignation, he turned back to her and leaned down. A huff and a grunt later, she was over his shoulder. Excuse me? Her anger was half-hearted, her tired and lightheaded to fang the intended bite. Oh, that's funny. You're excused. He was slow going down the hill, careful to avoid the rocks hoping to trip him. That's once again just picking up Buttercup. Back in a flash, I need to run and grab something for Trisha. No worries. Oh, and now I'm getting yelled at. Hey, buddy. She pushed up from his back to look up, the thin forest receding behind the rising incline. I have legs, she huffed. None that aren't currently gelatinized. He adjusted her on the shoulder, keeping his hold firm. Then let me roll down the hill. That's fine. I do love the degree that she commits, man. It's definitely, you do a good job. Do a good job making her a real commit to that stubbornness, man. It's good. Both of them, but she pounded a fist against his back. Will you quit fighting me for 5 minutes? You've never been this high before. Your body isn't used to the clouds. Give it a little while and you'll be marching yourself again. But until then, let me get us where we need to go. His voice was stern and to the point. She full sends everything all the time. Yeah, she clearly does. Fine. She begrudgingly relented. She propped her elbow on his back and rested her head in her palm. But what did I say about manhandling me? Her voice grew on edge at that. Damascus cringed. Her words in the basement of Max's ringing in his ears. Slipped my mind. Kill me after we set to the woodline, yeah? With a slow, steady pace and a few close trips, Damascus hauled the two of them down into the valley plateau. The trees were taller here, tucked away in a fold of the mountains where avalanches were rare. The fog hung like a transparent curtain over the lush crook of the land, blurred the edges of darkness within the trees. Damascus paused as his feet hit the dirt path. His stomach churned with the feeling of something wrong you don't quite place, like the crawling sensation of someone watching you when you know you're alone, or putting something down one moment for it to disappear the next. He pulled her off his shoulder and held her firm until he was satisfied she had her feet under her. He turned his attention back to the forest, back to the path in the forest, his gaze scrutinizing. I don't like the looks of... He was cut off by an abrupt smack to his arm. He tensed and spun around to find Buttercup's eyes thin and jaw set. Ow! He complained. just completely, just environmentally, just not, does not care. Could literally be surrounded by wolves. Gonna let Damascus know what's on her mind. It's great. Manhandle me again without asking, princess. See what happens. That's funny. I like that she calls him. That's funny. She gave him that little chin up, try me gesture before she turned into the path and started forward, not waiting for him. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Fantastic. Damascus frowned and rubbed his arm, walking by her. Abusive little witch. He grumbled to himself, eyes scanning the trees. He kept close to her side as they walked, one hand in the pocket with his knife, the other hovering in the air behind her back. He didn't trust the sway to her walk. Her low head lolled. They weren't that high up, and they hadn't moved that quickly up the mountain. With every part of him, he knew her body should have adjusted. The air was thin, but it wasn't that thin. He was far from a doctor, but he decided it had to be a combination of mountain sickness and the lack of sleep she still hadn't admitted to him, and he still had acknowledged to her. There were many conversations they didn't have. That's a good line. I like that a lot. That's a fantastic little end point to a musing. Big fan of that line. There were many conversations they didn't have. Aye, buddy. I know. I'm sorry. I'm reading. I know, champ. Just hang out. You're fine. Hi. I know. He's getting mad at me. Sometimes Damascus would play through scenarios of those conversations. He'd ponder what could be, but those thoughts would always be drowned before they could properly surface. He cast a nervous glance and caught her rubbing her eyes, the gaze behind them distant. You don't look too dandy there, witch, he said quietly, his tone steeped in concern. She puffed a breath and waved him off. I'm fine. It's just harder to breathe up here. Damascus' lips creased to a line. He put a hand on her shoulder and pointed to a rock just off the path. Sit for a minute. It's about time we eat anyway. That was a bold-faced lie. It wasn't even noon yet, and for the past several days they always ate a few hours after midday. The fact that Buttercup didn't argue was the nail in the coffin that buried the last of Damascus's doubts. She wasn't well. Ah, okay. Damascus saying dandy is really something. That is funny. That is a good point. Yeah, that's good. Time to drive home. Oh, all right. Have a good drive home, Liz. Yeah, we'll still be here for a little bit longer. We got one more sprint after this. Boo, 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 boo. All right. That is funny. Yeah, dandy. Damascus saying dandy. Very old-timey. Very old-timey. Where was it? Yes, she wasn't well. From one of his pockets, he pulled a water skin, a can of dried figs, and a pouch of seeds and nuts. He sat on the ground beside the rock she rested on, held up the canteen. Drink. Her eyes were heavy as she put the spout to her lips and took a few sips before handing it back to him. He took a drink of his own before opening the pouch of nuts and seeds. Here, this will get your energy up. She looked at it for a long moment, the cogs behind her eyes moving uncharacteristically slow. She shook her head and pushed his hand back. You can have it. I'm not hungry. His brows ticked. We've been trekking uphill for hours now. You need to eat something. He insisted. Damascus, I am... Yep. I swear if you say fine, you are fine one more time, Buttercup Ottenbow. I will never believe another word from your lips. His words are fast and sharp. It was an edge that had been grinding for a while now. Fantastic description. Great line. It's a great line. She faltered and looked away from him. She set her face in a scowl, covering her embarrassment with expert efficiency, even though she was out of it. Damascus sighed and let his head drop, knowing he was in the valley of death between not in the right, but not entirely wrong either. Look. I feel ill. The admission was blunt but tinged with reluctance. She still wasn't looking at him. I don't know what's wrong. Her voice warbled slightly. He sighed a storm's worth of pent-up wind, feeling the concern in him ease as she said what he already knew. You're mountain sick, he explained, as well as generally exhausted. You've never traveled before, and this road has not been kind to you. If you keep pushing, you are going to break yourself. His were not unkind. On the contrary, they came from kindness, though his tone would never share such. Nice. I like that. All right. They're actually talking to each other. Yep. They are actually talking to each other a little bit here, so that's good. She closed her eyes, her profile to him. Then what do you suggest? The venom in her tone was doused by an antidote of sincerity. He ran a hand through his tangle of hair as he contemplated. You let me carry you for a little bit further until there is a good place to set up. Then we take the remainder of the day to rest and you eat food. She bit her tongue between her teeth, denting the flesh. Damascus didn't need to be a mind reader or good with people to see how much she wanted to just keep walking. But after the crux of the internal battle, her body stood victorious over her mind. Okay. It was quiet and filled with resignation, but it was spoken. Okay. All right. Okay. Damascus popped a handful of trail mix into his mouth before he stowed the food and water back in his pocket. He stood with his usual musical accompaniment of creaks and cracks and stretched his back at the for an encore. Nice. It's good. It's a good line. All right, you little witch. His voice was strained as he arched. How would you prefer your means of transportation? He asked with a lilt that could be perceived as a joke. She blinked at him as though he had just turned into a goose. Damascus' insides tied themselves in knots at her silence. I mean, would you prefer I carry you on my back or in my arms or on my shoulder? His throat was a little dry with the quick footnote. He turned to look like he was surveying the path when he really just didn't want to look her in the face. Nice. That's good. Your back would be preferred, she said through her grogginess, with an unsteadiness that she should have taken as a cue not to climb up on the rock as she climbed up the rock. Damascus glanced over his shoulder to find her wobbling 2 feet above ground. With instinct, he was by her and placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. I'm starting to wonder if you enjoy making poor choices, he sighed, his eyes nearly leveled with hers. Just turn around, princess, she slurred, holding onto his shoulder. I love that she's taken to calling him princess. It's great. Conversation they are in fact having. She just got up as the nesting bird's heading to work, so she requires snuggles. For Tuscany. Nice. What? Am I getting yelled at? What, bud? You're fine. You have a whole buffet. You have a whole buffet of food, man. You're fine. Just turn around, princess. Damascus rolled his eyes and did so. It didn't take much effort to have her hauled up like a pack. The worst of it, Damascus found, was managing to get a hold of her with the layers of unruly skirt. I don't know how you wear this. It's like hauling around a blanket, he grumbled, his eyes set on the path, bouncing between the trees with an ever-vigilant eye. Her arms were wrapped loosely around his shoulders, her head on his shoulder, watching the forest pass by. It's not that bad. Besides, you haul around a much heavier blanket, she tugged gently at his trench coat. A small, imperceptible smile pulls past his coldness. Never increasing anomaly. I concede you have a point there. Alright, let me mark this. How much more do we have in the chapter? Ooh, alright. Okay, we got a little bit more. Alright, well, let's start the downtime, but we do have ads, so ads are going to roll through everybody. And then we will reconvene after ads. So stretch, get something to drink, and we will regroup. Shuffle. All swab and no shuffle makes me a dull boy. All right. Okay, I'm going to go get water, and I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh my god, what are we doing? What are we doing? Ghostly, are you just? Oh god, Ghostly, what have you done? I am left unintended. Oh god, so you should start quoting. Let's see what we got. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Yep, that's true. I love toxic relationships. That one is mine and the sacred script. Yeah, that's true. I like how that's the sacred script. Okay, all right. Hold on 1 second while I deal with some work shit. Okay, there we go. All right. Good lord. All right, welcome back. Are we done with ads? Okay. Oh my god, Ghostly, you've gone mad. You've gone mad. You're just going out of. Good lord. Oh my god, what is happening? I don't even know what is happening. It just chat. Okay. All right. Okay. Of no. Oh yes. Oh no, that one. That's what happens, Ghostly. If you do it too many times, that one rears its ugly head. My probably perhaps my greatest, probably the most out of context me saying, just actually catching myself saying the dumbest thing imaginable on stream. That one is like the actual, probably the worst offense of it. Which is very funny. Uh, that's on the internet forever. That is true. That is someone. Yeah, they will forever be clipped. If I ever have an what is it, in memoriam or whatever, when people die at the Oscars or something, or whatever, it'll be the weird indie Oscars. It'll be the independent weirdos. Um, the only people who ever watch my movies. That'll be the thing that gets said. Is, remember that time he said this. There's that one too. I am so. Did I say that even in jest? I wonder what that even was in context to. I am so important. God, King of the Universe, Twilight. I must have said that. I'm just wondering what like weird worm Jesus God thing I was saying when I said I am, because I'm so important. Is a little. It's like, it's very self-aggrandizing and funny, but it's less like operatic. You kind of expect a little bit more of like an operatic thing. Uh, I look forward to the day when you're infamous and people look back on your beginnings as a streamer and are just like, oh, he was insane before the fame. Yeah, yes. People are never gonna say that it was fame that made me insane. That'll go all the way back to high school. Yeah. That's that train. There, the image is is my quote unquote image never will never be normal. There are way too many people who have witnessed shit that I have done in the past. So I'm sure some of you even have it on video. That I'm sure they will only remember they own if and when I ever become some semblance of a public figure. Which I do not intend on it. The goal is, of course, not to. The goal is always anonymity and let your art or whatever your craft speak for itself. That's not usually how it goes today. We have to brand everything, including yourself. You have to in the literature world become the Brandon Sanderson. In the film world, literally be the Nolan. You have to be the Nolan. Not even like Lynch and those guys had pull, but like you have to just know. You kind of have to brand yourself as this is the thing you sign up for, which is kind of depressing, but it is how we go about things today. It is how you must interface with the marketplace. I think prepping for Rhode Island, sarcastically, yeah. Hey, Autumn Storyteller, welcome in. I would write, but I'm on Minecraft. Hey, man, no shame in that, Autumn Storyteller. Minecraft away. There's no shame in that. Lord knows I just found out I spent over 500 hours in Elden Ring, which is, for me, a lot. That's a lot of time I spend in a video game. It might be the most I've ever spent in a video game. But now there's internet proof. That's true. There is internet proof. Well, if you were normal, we would not be friends. Normal is so very deeply boring. Yeah. I feel like everybody hanging out on this kind of stream is kind of signing up for the weirdness. So if we're all us internet folks, all us with this strange little internet corner of internet writers, we're all kind of in the weird group. So that's just the vibe we got going here. Normal is so deeply boring. Yep. And when the diehards go to dig through your VODs, they will all see that it was in fact Ghostly Engraves that made the Tumblr girl's heart's true love. One Virgil Sam Thomas. Yeah, there you go, Ghostly. That the Virgils will be thanks to a Ghostly Engraves. Eggers, you sign up for historical horror. That's true. In all its spiciness, that's true. Twilight, you could still stand to spend more time playing Elden Ring. Yeah, I mean, I platinumed it. I probably will always go back to that game. It might have usurped the Nier games and Bloodborne as my favorite game ever made. That is but it's hard for me to justify that. I got stacks of books. It's hard for me to justify that kind of time in a game. As well as a lot of movies. I have a lot of I've actually been bad about movies recently. I have a lot of movies I got to catch up on. I hate the word normal because what's normal? Exactly, Autumn Storyteller, 100%. Yep. Yeah, normal's normal is what is defined. It's normal, same thing as gender, same thing as all that stuff. It's all socially constructed. Over how man years is it? Is that 500 hours? How many years is that 500 hours? I mean, since the game came out, so what? Early 2022. It came out in early 2022. Yeah, so that would be what, 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. Oh, Autumn. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Wasn't sure. I do. Like, we do short name here usually. I just want to make sure. That's my boy. The worm Jesus said it. It is the law. Yes, I know, because hard to take breaks. Yeah, ain't that a problem for all of us? It's the hustle culture. All right. Hey, Patio Skunk, welcome in. If I could trade all my game hours for writing hours, I might have accomplished something by now. I get that too, Patio Skunk, for sure. Swab, yeah. Oh, yeah, timer is down. Okay, well, I write scripts and novels, hence this name. Yep. No, it makes sense. No, yeah. I mean, we're all writers here, so. That's so little for 3 years. You're definitely not age related too much. Yeah. I mean, it's for individuals. Individuals have different kind of metrics for that. Swab. Okay. All right. Let me get us back, and then we will dive back in. So we'll finish the chapter. We'll finish this chapter and then switch to writing, depending on how much time we have left over. Let me go back to where we were. Where were we? I think that's. Oh, nope. Too far. Okay, that's what. Yes, this is the carrying grogginess up the clock. Okay. All right. We will start here. Okay. All right, everybody. We are going to finish reading this chapter of Ghostly's Thing and then switch over to writing. So, for those of you who are currently writing, feel free to mute if you're going to be working during this. Or for those of you, feel free to throw in your thoughts. All right. Happy writing, everybody, or happy listening. See you on the other side. All right. Ah! It's so angry. Okay. All right. Where are we at? Okay. There we go. Damascus rolled his eyes and did so. It did take much effort to have her hauled up like a pack. The worst of it, Damascus, I was managing to get a hold of her with the layers of unruly skirt. I don't know how you wear this. It's like hauling around a blanket, he grumbled, his eyes set on the path, bouncing between trees and the ever-vigilant eye. Her arms were wrapped loosely around his shoulders, her arms were wrapped loosely around his shoulders, her head on his shoulder, watching the forest pass by. It's not that bad. Besides, you haul around a much heavier blanket, she tugged gently at his trench coat. A small, imperceptible smile pulls past his coldness. Oh. That's present tense. Just say screenwriting. I do it all the time. Every time I've been trying to write prose, I do that all the time now. I have to catch it. I have to catch myself. Ghostly's been writing screenplays. Okay, all right, sorry. A small imperceptible smile pulled past his coldness, an ever-increasing anomaly. I concede you have a point there. The woods pooled in around them as Damascus followed the winding trail. The fog thickened like a broth, sticking to the air and blocking out the trees beyond what was directly off the path. I like this. It's getting creepy. Got vibes. The pang of something wrong sharpened in his gut, coiling his shoulders and heightening his guard. He held her a little tighter as they went. He wasn't sure when she had fallen asleep, but at some point her breathing had gained that soft, even quality that came with unconsciousness. Damascus fell into his mind as he walked. His thoughts dwelled on the little witch that rested on his back. It felt oddly comfortable, he thought, having this warm weight against him. She reminded him of a perfectly balanced blade. How it would so fit perfectly in his hand and mold to its wielder like an extension of the self. She was not a burden on his shoulders, but an addition. Okay. He then wondered if that was a strange thought, and decided he should not tell her that. Yeah, equating her to a sword might not. That's what. Did you say broth? Like soup? Nice. Oh yeah, it's a good note, Cryptid. Yeah, it's a good note. More wrongness. What is occurring? I mean, we are spending a lot of time in their headspace, but we will see. Yeah, I do like this. Decide not to tell her that. Though his thoughts churned his attention, he was not too far as to notice the large, dark shape that faded in from down the path off the side of the road. Ooh. The hairs on Damascus's neck spiked at the sight of a torch, followed by speech. It's too damn heavy, and the ditch is too damn deep, a thick, accented voice grumbled. Interesting, okay. And there we go. Okay. Yep. Damascus froze, his heart stopping. Buttercup was still unroused. His hands subconsciously tightened their hold under her knees. The image of Rorik intruded in his mind. His hands on her as he held her at his hands on her as he held her at knife point. How he looked at her as though she was a fruit ripe for picking. It rekindled his rage all over again. Oh, welcome to the mountain, boys. Okay, very cool. All right. He forced a breath before it overtook him. He had her. She was on his back. No one could get to her. For the first time in a very long time, the thought of his reputation and how people would react to him didn't cross his occupied mind. Damascus steered them to the other end of the path, pushing into the tree line and darkness. With slow, even steps, he snuck closer to the unknown party ahead. The fog thinned to reveal a covered wagon half in a ditch. One lean silhouette loomed over the edge, while a squat, short blob was in it, groaning as it tried to lift the wagon. Oh boy. Did you just build... You got a creepy tension, and it's gonna be mountain. It's gonna be like a Appalachian mountain, guys. She ain't going. Oh no! Oh, it is. She ain't going anywhere, Jamie boy. The accented man huffing through deep breaths. Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. You, Jamie boy. You're starting to get a. Oh, he's Scottish. Oh, you're doing a Scottish thing. Okay. Think Scottish. I mean, that's the hillbilly of England, pretty much. And I can say that I'm a Scottish family. So there's thick soup and groaning. Yeah, right. Just like you hear broth and you're like, I can only now think of soup. Then what are we supposed to do? We can't just walk all the way back? He asked in a more desperate than angry tone. At least you're writing them in like they're understandable. Usually Scottish folk, they're hard to understand and they sound angry all the time. Damascus watched them out of the corner of his eye as he went, slowly skirting around them. He was mindful not to jostle her, but she stirred all the same. Her head burrowed into his shoulder as her subconscious mind attempt to remain buried in sleep. It was in vain. Princess? She grumbled, lifting her head to rub her eyes, failing to understand what was happening and how she got there. Damascus froze, his heart falling out of his body and running off into the fog. Both shadows spun. The lean one raised a torch to break the opaque dark between them and the duo. Hello? Who's there? The torch swiped at the mist. Damascus mentally cured the road and the mountain it crawled upon. He very quietly shushed Buttercup, but knew their chances of sneaking past undetected were dead now. With a heavy, reluctant step, he entered the edge of flame light. Damascus mentally cursed the road. Gotcha. Thank you, Ghostly. Cursed the road. Just passing through. We mean no harm, Damascus said roughly. He kept his distance from the two, his body tense to react however necessary depending on the events of the next few seconds. Buttercup peeked up from his shoulder, blinking at the torchlight. The two men exchanged a weary glance. Their intimidation not as well hidden as they would have hoped. Who are you? The larger man asked, putting a defensive scowl as he crawled out of the ditch. Of course he's in a ditch. Yeah, digging a wagon out of a ditch. I could ask you the same. Damascus' tone was blank, as was his face. It was a mask that had seeped into his skin until it became him. James! Finnick! The lanky man James gestured between him and the stout man, his hard gaze set on Damascus like a challenge. Your turn! Damascus was silent for a long moment. Hi, what, bud? Hi. Yes, hello. Hi. Yes, I love you. Damascus was silent for a long moment, his face betraying nothing. Buttercup held her tongue as she tried to piece together what the hell was going on. August. He spoke the name as though it was second nature. As I said, we are just passing through. As were we, James met coolly. Emphasis on were, as you can see. He gestured back to the wagon. Without looking at him, he pushed the torch into Finnick's hand so that he could walk closer closer with both raised in a disarming motion. You two are just legging up the road? Or I suppose you would be the only one legging it. His eyes darted to the outline of Buttercup on his back, mostly shielded by his flame. His glance made the hairs on the back of Damascus's neck prickle. Yes, bound passes are not pleasant for wagons and coaches, as you prove. He shifted his grip on her. How you've characterized James is that you've named it Jamie. You named it Jamie Boy. Bobby, it's like Bobby Joe. Bobby Joe. Anyway, that's yeah. And I haven't, it's been too long since I was like compulsively watching Braveheart to do a terrible Scottish accent. But if they are doing the Scottish accent thing, everything they say sounds exceedingly angry and slurred, generally. James lowers his head in a placating manner. Very fair. I meant only to highlight the dangers of this mountain, especially with the rise and tide of highwaymen through the newer stomped paths. The Penelope Peaks are no place... Penelope Peaks? I like that. It's a good name. The Penelope Peaks are no place for travelers, especially when night falls. Oh, James is more suave. Only Finnick is... Oh, gotcha. Okay. Only Finnick is Scottish. That's why their dialects are different. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. You could, if you wanted to. You don't have to, but you can specify in your description of how they talk to give them like voices like that, like observational clues as to how you want them to be like read. Because at the moment I see Jamie Boy, I'm gonna read them like they're just hillbillies. But it makes sense. You are writing his dialogue a little cleaner. Let's see here. Now that someone else is reading it, yes, I realize this. It's sometimes useful. It's useful. That's certain descriptions sometimes by the tone of their voice or a in-world assumption of the dialect might help. You don't need to go too much because you can become like overly expository, but a little bit. There we go. Okay, yeah. But I like the term Penelope Peaks. Penelope Peaks are no place for travelers, especially when night falls. I can handle highwaymen. Damascus made no attempt at decorum. Oh, I see what he's doing there. Oh, he's throwing out a little bit of energy, a little bit of, as the kids would say, Sigma energy to try to let these boys know he's not to be trifled with. Though his attention was on the men before him, his eyes flicked about the woods, ready for an ambush if one was to befall. He knew full well this man could be exactly what he described. Why do I never say that again? That's what happens when I run D&D games for those kids on Sundays, man. I'm starting to pick up this language. Hey, and I'm writing it into the script because I'm writing a high school slasher cosmic thriller, so I have to use this language. So it's in my brain. It's in my brain right now. That brain rot is literally in my brain. Let's see. That's disgusting. I don't even actually know what that term means. What Sigma means. It's just the kids always say that's Sigma, so that's all I got. That's all I know. It's a Greek letter. But you can't. James tipped his head to her with a knowing look. I don't care who you are. A man against a posse of highwaymen can't hold his own while he's holding up a gal like that. I meant no offense or insult, only that you understand what you're up against and offer a mutually beneficial alternative. Ah, okay, very nice. Okay, I see. We're getting a little, getting a parlay. We're getting a little bit of a parlay here, everybody. Speaking in code. It's good. Parlay. Damascus' eyes narrowed on the man. His face was thin and pointy, reminiscent of a weasel in Damascus' eyes. He knew deep down the weasel man was correct, but he hated it. Nice. I'm listening. James smiled at that. It wasn't a malevolent smile, more of the smile of a man who had just found money on the road. Well, sir, You can see neither I nor my associate possess the ability to pull our cart out of the ditch. He gestured Damascus from head to toe. And you, Mr. August, are, shall we say, well endowed. His smile grew, raising an eyebrow. Uh-huh. Damascus was not amused in the slightest. James' smile faltered as Damascus' cold glare of torment beyond this mortal coil. That's funny. I like that. You put us back on the road, and we will grant you passage through the pass. Interesting. That's interesting. And we will grant you passage. Okay. Bold choice of words there, friend. He cut to the chase. Damascus took a breath that did nothing to quell the division inside of him. If it were solely him, he wouldn't have given a second thought to walking on without a word. But it wasn't just him anymore. He had a girl on his back and an ill girl. For the first time in 10 years, he had to consider how his decision would affect another person. Nice. I'm liking this. It was against every ounce of instinct in his body that he spoke next. Fine. Nice. Damascus passed James without a glance and stepped down into the ditch. It wasn't any more than 2 feet deep, but that was enough to wedge a wheel good. The short, stout, bearded man, Finnick, stepped up to the edge. I'll take the last for you. He offered with his arms out. Buddy, what are you doing? Oh, he's howling at the water. Damascus shot him a glare of warning to maintain distance. I have her. You two, I have her. You two go up front, spur the horses when I say, he ordered plainly. Finnick shrugged, without offense, and made his way around the cart. James cast one long, scrutinizing look at Damascus before he followed his compatriot. Finnick is has a very clear idea of who he is and what he looks like, where he's like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. He's like, I'm a scuzzy-looking weirdo. I got it. Fine. I like that. It's like, no offense taken. Finnick shrugged without it. Yeah. After they were back up front, Damascus sighed and let the knot that tied his shoulders loosen. I love Finnick so very much. Yeah, it's very very honest, very self-awareness, self-reflective self-awareness on his part. What, buddy? What is going on? What? Yeah, I see you. Hello. I know. He shook his head, questioning his choice. He moved her hands to hold tight over his shoulders, removing his hands from her legs. Nothing. We're gonna go on a little trip. It should get us down the mountain faster. He took a deep breath before he took hold of the wheel. His arms strained, but the wheel was the loser. Through teeth tight enough to turn coal to diamonds in a protruding vein from his forehead, he hauled the wheel up and out of the ditch. Okay, all right. He's a dwarf in my mind. He isn't actually, but he has a dwarf energy. Yeah, that's appropriate. It's good vibes. It clattered to the dirt, swaying slightly. He leaned against the side as he breathed again, Buttercup still holding his back. You okay? Yeah, peachy, he heaved. With his forehead still pressed against the wood side, he returned slightly shaking hands back under her legs. Let's get off this damn mountain. Nice, I like that. That he can show, that as big and strong and scary as he is, he's starting to reach his limits even. Treading into new territory, because it's a lot easier for him. It's a lot easier for him to be kind of just this force of nature, and that managing it. He is weaker, but he will grow stronger by having to consider others in the way he goes about his world, which is a exciting character path for him. So I like that. The mountain has just begun. I figured, Ghostly. I figured you do a good job of setting the tension, and then I was very curious to see where you were going with it. Because I wasn't sure if we were going to get a big spooky fight thing. We were going to get the weird, like when Buttercup and Damascus get attacked in the woods. But you do have a very good, particularly with this story, you have a strong ability to Doctor Who it a little bit, where like, and I say Doctor Who it because that's like a big thing with Doctor Who is that like it's all positioned and setting up for like an action showdown, but the brilliance of the Doctor is always that it's disarmed in a non-violent fashion, or that essentially people just talk to each other, and but they made their in Doctor Who they're able to make it they're able to make it dramatic and compelling. But the whole promise of it is essentially any solution except for the violent solution. But you are doing a very good job of kind of capturing that energy and making it dramatically interesting. You're keeping the dramatic tension there, without kind of feeling the pressure or the expectation to pay that off. To pay off like the fact that you have to have like a violent scene or an action scene or like something that's very like you're able to navigate this in a much different way, which I think is to your benefit as a storyteller in this story specifically. I thought the card guys were gonna nab her. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was kind of it. That was definitely hard bargaining. That was a choice. Instead of just being like, "Hey, want to help us do this?" He was like, "We'll let you pass." That's a thing. Yeah, that is a thing. But no, it's as always, Ghostly. It's a delight to read. It wasn't bad. It's not bad. I know you said you were worried that it might be bad, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. Um, so I mean, your characters are definitely strongest point. I would definitely say I could definitely use some more in-world description. Um, Not just about the woods, but also about the characters, where they come from. Like, just give me like a little bit more color. I could use a little bit more texture. But you are very good at writing their inner worlds. So, and you tend to focus being in their headspace, which is great. I just could use a little bit more texture in the world. Um, Now, was someone counting how many times he said the word bad? That's, yeah, right, exactly. Twilight is asking for paprika. Yes, give me paprika. I need more spice. Um, it was more like, we'll give you a free... Oh, gotcha. You might want to make that clear, because that sounded like a threat. But yes, that sounded... It definitely said, to me, it read like he was, need more hot sauce. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just a little bit. It just needs a little bit more in-world description. Setting details to build tension and character details would help understand the world. Yeah, I will say, like, I do like having a little bit of like a lead-in of how I'm trying to read these characters. So, like, particularly if you're trying to create kind of like different cultures and different like ways of talking between different groups of people, you're gonna want to like embellish on that a little bit initially and not just do that in the dialect. It's actually a thing you kind of get away with in screenwriting is I can just write the dialect and then rely on the direction to essentially navigate that. Sometimes you can maybe do it in description to be like a southern bayou accent or something like that. But you can kind of cheat in screenwriting, so I don't have to be super clear. But I feel like in prose you kind of need to like at least initially embellish like what are the first two things that Damascus what are the first two things Damascus notices about the guy aside from just tall and short? So one is better dressed, has a silvery tongue. One is a little bit like grunter, like has a kind of a coarser attitude. That sort of thing. Body language. One's a little stiffer. One's a little stiffer and more, kind of stick up his ass. The other guy, the dwarf, is a little bit more like disarmed, like kind of casual about how he kind of holds himself. It's like that kind of stuff. So that'd be my biggest note for this batch of chapters. It's hard to write scripts when you first write novels. Oh no, 100%, Autumn, 100%. Yeah, I'm always writing quotation marks when I write dialogue. Then I don't need to do that. Yeah, I've moved back to it. Goes both ways. It's hard, but yes, it's very difficult to kind of like completely different format. It was an attempt at a barter. Yeah, like help us out of the ditch. Got it, got it. Yeah, no, I figured that's what it was. It just there was a part of it where it sounded almost like it was almost like it was a threat. Consider if there's anything about their dress or accent that Damascus projector that he's been through in the mountain before. That's a good point, Cryptid. Yeah, because that keeps it in world, and you give us a little bit that's what Cryptid just suggested. There is how you are able to sneak in exposition into a scene that will not feel expository. So if you're trying to sneak in things about your world that you want to color this, then that is how you do exposition. It's actually probably the best way to do exposition is exactly what Cryptid said there. Yeah. And remember, when you're writing in prose, that you kind of get a lot. There's a lot of space I feel like they give you for to exposit. So always try to feel like you can sneak things in there where it doesn't feel like you're just exposition dump. That you can kind of sneak things in here and kind of color the world a little bit. So anyway, yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know if the cart was empty. It seemed I couldn't tell if they had things that they were bringing in like traders or not. So that's kind of the I would say my big like note overall. It's more of a wagon. Yeah, it's a wagon. I figured they were like riding a wagon, but I assume either it's empty and they're going to pick things up, or it's or there's cargo in it. Particularly if it got stuck. Because if it got you kind of want that weighted down. So if it's gonna be stuck in a ditch, an empty wooden wagon is a lot easier to get out of a ditch than one that is loaded. Wagons aren't the heaviest things in the world for the most part, depending on the type of wagon. We just know it's heavy. Okay, you just know the wagon's heavy, yeah. So it's probably loaded down with a bunch of stuff. So, cool. All right. Well, thank you, Ghostly. Thank you for letting us read your story. It is always a blast. Do. Bam. All right. Well, I am going to rest my voice, and for the last 13 minutes, we are going to let everybody write and work on stream. So if you got some writing to do, feel free to do it. And then this will be the last sprint, so we will call it after this. But we get to see what's inside next time. Insults and Unpleasantries. Is that the title of the next chapter? Did I just go back? Is that what the next chapter is? Oh, you don't even have a title for the next chapter. Okay. Cool. All right. Novel. Yeah, Cryptid novel. Yep. Oh no. Oh, I thought you. I mean, sometimes you can have the chapter title be the title of the novel. I wasn't sure. I was like, is it the namesake chapter title? Could be. I just know it is insults, but let's see. Novel or script, y'all pick. It's a Cryptid's novel. Go novel. All right. Okay, we are gonna. That's how the world will know it. Insults. It'll just be. He has a character novel joke. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go off mic, and let folks wrap up during the sprint, and I might dabble a little bit, and then we will call it there. All right. Thanks, but thank you for letting us read it, Ghostly. It's always a blast. All right. Alrighty. It was short, but that is the end of that sprint. All right. Well, for everybody who was working and writing, I hope you're able to get some work done. And for everybody who was listening along to Ghostly's work, I hope you learned and or just enjoyed listening to a fantastic story. Mine was on Minecraft. That's totally fine. There's no shame in that. Or if you were just playing Minecraft, Lord knows, I will be playing probably Dark Souls 3 tonight, and rewatching Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo, while I pack a bunch of film gear and get ready to leave early tomorrow morning. Thank you, of course, Ghostly. It is always a delight to read all y'all's stuff. You're all beautiful and talented people, and you all write cool shit, and I get to read that cool shit, so it is a boon to me. So yeah. It is an utter delight, and I love doing it. Thank you again for bringing your work, Ghostly. Of course, good. Take all the breaks. Yep, we will be taking breaks. It's if you can't already tell, my phone is blowing up because it is past 5 o'clock, and I have shit I gotta go do. Because people want to know if all the shit works, and I have not tested to see if all the shit works. So I gotta go do that. All right, everybody. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Of course, be kind to others. Keep on writing. Write those words. Everyone wants a piece of Twilight. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like right now. It's how it is. It's last minute. I wasn't supposed to work this week. But I'm broke. So I'm glad it came. But yes, I have to go get gear and everything taken care of. I gotta make sure these cameras work and all that. But no stream for the weekend. I will be down, and my husband too. I was like doing. Your husband both he and I. We work in the same. We know that world. He knows that world. He's doing a 3-day shoot. Okay, yep, that's what I'm doing pretty much. I'm doing a 3-day shoot this weekend, so I'll be in I'll be in La Jotte or whatever. It's like 30 minutes outside of San Diego. I'll be there all weekend. For streams next week. I do not know. I have to go back down to San Diego Thursday and Friday. So I might be doing a prep day Wednesday. So there might only be a stream on Tuesday next week. And I don't know. I might be too burned out on the weekend, depending on how the shoot goes on Thursday and Friday. I might just be dead. So there might not be a weekend stream. So for next week, Tuesday we'll stream. Don't know about anything after that. Mr. Worldwide, it's San Diego. I am literally going 3 hours south of where I'm at. It is not far. So anyway, I do not know. That's a good question. Someone is my usual. Let's see who we got. Who we got? One second. Let's see here. Did two. Okay, we'll go to, you've got a friend, Trallion? Okay, all right, let me write them down so I know people to raid in the future. Let's see here. We got, where they, I can take the week off. Yeah, maybe, we'll see. I'll try to stream on Tuesday. I'm on light work next week, so if Tech works, I run sprints on Dextor. I do appreciate that if you do the club hangout. Okay. Trallion is co-working. Okay, and Tukigan. Okay, and Desdemona Rose is also. It's very weird that the raid thing, it's been a while. You know what? It has been a long time since we've raided into Desdemona. The thing I really hate is, like, when I do the raid thing now, it really does not. They've changed it, and it's way worse. Like, it's way harder for me to find people. Because I usually go by the category. And it does not like that. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Wait. Okay. Maybe this works. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? It's been a long time since I've gone in terrible novelist, and he hangs out a lot. So we'll go do that. Let's see. Yeah. All right, so we're going to raid in there, but let me follow your friend Trallion, and we will give Trallion a raid in the future. Thank you, because, yeah, more people is always good. Desdemona. All right, okay, we're going to go ahead and raid in on Terrible Novelist. Why do you do this to me? Okay. I'll learn how to stream eventually, everybody, I promise. I promise. Someday. Someday I'll have it all figured out. All right. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. We'll catch you next